that game,
you
weren't bothered by what Baker did.
No. But just like I won't be bothered by what Nick did.
Does.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Nick is a tremendous player. I believe he's going to be defensive rookie of the year. He can pass rush outside. He can play both end spots. He can play both tackle spots. He had a high ankle sprain this summer, so he's still not 100%. Last night was just a glimpse. He might be better than his brother.
First Niner in a quarter century with 2 sacks, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery in a game, and it should have been 3 sacks. That play where they called intentional grounding, Baker's knee was down with his hand, ball in hand. It ended up going to halftime, so it didn't matter. But Nicky should have had 3 sacks in that game.
Sorry, Baker. Time for stories.
All the time. I wish
that's an expensive birthday gift for the little one.
On to Monday Night
I put her on my shoulder, sneaker.
Yeah, little juvenile delinquent.
I'm sure that'll work.
Happy birthday.
The 49ers handed the Browns another loss. San Francisco now remains undefeated on the season. It was a rough night for Baker Mayfield, who finished with a quarterback rating of 14.3. See, what did the Niners show you last night?
Up front. Is there a better defensive line, Nick? Is there a better defensive line?
Well, I mean, there's a few that are close, but the Niners, the way they played last night, looked as good as anybody.
And it's great to see those 4 first-round picks live up to their potential. And I'm cheering for John Lynch, the general manager, former announcer. Man, this was a make-or-break kind of year for them. Even though they did have a 5-year contract, you wanted to see some results. This is a good football team. So I'm taking my shoes off, 49ers fans, I'm on the bandwagon.
Okay, I'm not yet quite on the bandwagon. I'm going to be a little late to this. Listen, the Niners have proven through the first quarter of the season they are the massive favorites in the AFC North. Unfortunately, they play in the NFC West. Now, they have dominated Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. I need to see them play some divisional teams.
Good. That's good.
They play the Rams. They haven't played the Seahawks. They play Rams next week.
You would have told me that before the show. I might be. But I'm still on the bandwagon.
I stayed a little in reserve. Great. And by the way, like to see Richard Sherman making a real impact. Richard Sherman, Seattle's like, we don't need you anymore. Sherman negotiated his own deal with San Francisco. Most interceptions of anyone in the league since he's come into the league. Good game by him.
Especially that second year after that Achilles tear. Typically when you get back to 100%.
And he's looking like himself again.
All right, on to the Cowboys. They've suffered back-to-back losses after starting the season with 3 straight wins. However, Jason Garrett is not on the hot seat. That according to Stephen Jones. Nick, should Garrett's job be safe for now?
Listen, they're not going to fire him mid-season. Like, that is, it's odd to me they even had to respond to this. We thought Jay Gruden was on the hot seat coming into the season. He wasn't. He got fired.
Absolutely.
Jason Garrett, he is coaching for his job in this capacity. If they do not go on, not only if they don't make the playoffs, but I think if they don't win a playoff game or 2, he's not going to be the coach next year. But you're not going to keep a guy that long and then fire him mid-season. I know the Packers did that with McCarthy. I don't see the Cowboys doing that with Jason Garrett.
The Cowboys did send a message, Jenna, by not extending.
Yes.
All right, so this year is a make-or-break year for Jason Garrett and that staff. I don't see them, unless this goes totally the other way. How do they get better if they were to get rid of him? So they're right. He's not on the hot seat. Typically, Jerry doesn't mess around with his words as far as his coach is concerned. Even though Jason Garrett might be on other people's hot seat, he's not on the coaches and the owner's hot seat because he likes him.
All right, week 5 of the NFL officially in the books. As it stands today, the New Orleans Saints are the favorites to win the NFC, followed by the Packers, Eagles, Rams, Niners, and Cowboys. It sets up a fun discussion. Nick, who's the best team in the NFC?
Right now, to me, there is a clear hierarchy. And the hierarchy is the Saints and the Packers, and then everybody else. And so, and by the way, in that list, I think the Seahawks are wild disrespected. Seahawks were not on that list. Seahawks, maybe it's because of the division that they're in, because they have to deal with the Niners and the Rams, pardon me. But I think the Packers have shown you, and the Saints have shown you, they can beat really good teams without their first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback playing well in Green Bay's situation or playing at all in New Orleans' situation. And that's what differentiates them, for me, with the rest of the teams. They are healthier than other teams because Devontae Adams, while he's out with the turf toe, that is not the type of injury that you think, is he going to be back by the end of the season? And Drew Brees, while he's out right now, we know when he is coming back or that he is coming back at midseason. they don't have the structural injuries of lost this player for the year, this guy is out for 6 to 8 weeks. I also think right now they're a team that can, both those teams have shown you, we can beat you running the football, we can beat you with our defense, and oh yeah, by the way, we have the two of the three best quarterbacks in the NFC in Breeze and Rodgers. So to me, those two teams are tied for first. I know that's a bit of a cop-out, but I think those two teams are neck and neck, and then I would slot in other teams. I'm not as high on the Niners just yet. I have real concerns about the Rams, and as I mentioned, I think the Seahawks are a little disrespected, and Philly's lurking. We need to see what Philly can be once they get their full complement of players back, but Saints and Packers are, to me, the clear top two teams.
Yeah, Jenna, I believe that the 49ers should be part of the conversation because I believe their style is so contrasting to any other style. How can a team in a short period of time get ready for that style? Their quarterback, can they throw the ball down the field? That's probably the biggest question mark. But I believe that the Saints, they should have a significant edge over the Packers for a number of reasons. Head coach, playoff experience, and the disappointment the last 2 years in the playoffs. 2 years ago, Minneapolis Miracle, Stephon Diggs happens to them. They got that game won, then they're going to go to Philadelphia. They could potentially be going back to the Super Bowl. We know last year, as far as the call, they're in the Superdome, went against the Rams. They could have been in another Super Bowl. So they got a lot of young players that have won a lot of big games and been a part of big-time situations. The old NFL used to be, you lose the first round of the playoffs, next time you lose the divisional round, you get to the championship game, then you go to the Super Bowl. I think this Saints organization is built to ready to take. Now, Green Bay's talented, but they haven't been in a good playoff race the last couple years, and Aaron Rodgers has been out of the playoffs the last couple.
One thing that for New Orleans, that this Teddy Bridgewater stretch, why it's been so important, is because this tilts massively if these two teams play in the playoffs based on where that game is played. If it's in Green Bay in January versus in the confines of the Superdome. Now, the Saints aren't drawing dead outdoors because they have shown they can run the ball, they can play good defense, unlike some Saints teams in the past. But if Teddy doesn't keep them on pace with the best teams in the conference, then home field is gone. That's when Drew Brees got hurt. That's what I thought they sacrificed. I didn't think they were knocked out of the playoffs, but I thought they sacrificed any opportunity to have home field go through their building. Teddy's obviously undefeated and has kept them right where they need to be.
So did last night change your opinion on? Would this be a different conversation if you hadn't seen the 49ers last night?
It wouldn't be a different conversation as to teams at the top, but I'm still worried about, okay, the Saints. Can they block the 49ers? Every team. Can they block the Green Bay? Can they block the 49ers? Green Bay would have a hell of a time going against that 49ers front. So last night is part of the story. The 49ers, they deserve the right for us to be talking about them. They haven't been on the National League map for the last couple years. So there's going to be a number of people slow to the party like my guy, Nick Wright.
I might not ever
He'll be sitting back in the corner.
We'll see.
On 3 quarters, but you play 60 minutes of football. You try to make adjustments throughout. You know, you take the good with the bad, and you just, again, I think a lot of it comes down to mental toughness. So when you put yourself in the position that we're in, you know, you get a chance every week to go out there and put on a great show. And I think it's frustrating for all of us when it doesn't go the way that we hoped. You know, if you think about it, I think 5-0's, I mean, you can't be record-wise any better than that. So, you know, for us as an offense, you know, we've got to figure out how to be more consistent, how to be more dependable.
Yes, you see, they are 5-0, but not because of number 12 and not because of that offense. That defense has been stellar. Do you trust Brady in the offense to get back on track, be a little more consistent the rest of the season?
I can't trust him right now because if you look at the amount of substitutions they've made on their offensive line. So every week, their offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniel, Dante Scarnecchia, offensive line coach, they have to figure out what are our best protections for this week. So there's no type of continuity. It's hard to be consistent when you have, oh, my center's out. Oh, my left tackle's out. Oh, now the right tackle's out, and I got to move another guy into guard. All these moving parts. You don't have everything that Tom Brady knows about football. They can't operate under that mode. Oh, let's pull back some stuff we did 4 years ago. No, they're trying to perfect some basic things. They know their special teams have been great, elite. Their coverage teams are great. Their defense, they believe, is elite. Tom Brady and them aren't going to blow it by turning the ball over. They know the makeup of the team, but their wide receiver, Edelman's missed a significant amount of time, not only in training camp, but the first couple weeks of the season with that chest injury. Josh Gordon, I don't know how much Josh weighs right now, but I would be saying this is the heaviest I've ever seen him playing, and I don't know if he can carry that weight. New England does a lot of lifting during the season. They're in the old fashioned as far as, man, doing dumbbells, barbells, squats. A lot of teams don't do that during the season. New England does that. And Josh is a bulky guy. I wonder how fast he is right now. So in practice, are they able to time things up? And to me, it doesn't seem like they've had great practice because there's so many guys going in and out of the lineup. So it's going to be hard for them. I would give them another 3 or 4 weeks until they face, especially some stiffer competition, till we start seeing some type of consistency. But I wouldn't be surprised if this offense, because of lack of talent, especially on that offensive line, if they don't struggle all year.
If you're not concerned about the Patriots offense, A, I believe you're not really paying attention, and B, you definitely have them winning the Super Bowl in a rout. I mean, this defense has allowed 2 touchdowns. We're through 5 games. Now, I know they haven't played great offenses on the other side, but they've allowed 2 touchdowns. The defense has been spectacular, but the offense, the offense has played one defense with a pulse, the Buffalo Bills. In that game, that offense scored 9 points. Tom Brady had his worst quarterback rating in 13 years, okay? That was the only team that offered any resistance. Their other 4 games where the offense, by the end of the game, has scored 30 points and is blowing you out. Those teams are a combined 1-17.
Washington gave them fits the first half, and they just fired the coach.
Exactly right. The Jets... The Jets are not right now a competent organization. The Miami Dolphins right now are the worst team in the league. Pittsburgh, beginning of the year, I know they still had Big Ben, but they didn't have Minkah Fitzpatrick yet. The defense, Devin Bush was playing his first career game. That defense has gotten better, but that game didn't play well. So I don't trust this Pats offense. Who were the most important people on the offense when they won the Super Bowl last year, other than Tom Brady? Where their left tackle was very important. He plays for a different team now, and his backup is on IR. Their center was arguably their most important offensive lineman. He's on IR. Rob Gronkowski doesn't play football anymore. James Devlin, old neck roll Devlin, and we saw in last night's game, before Juszczyk got hurt, by the way, the value of one of the last really good fullbacks in the league.
Yep.
Devlin's not there. So now, what did they add? Well, they brought Josh Gordon back. To Chris's point, what version of Josh Gordon did they bring back? Edelman has been dinged. Philip Dorsett went out of this football game injured. Now, it speaks
to why they really needed, and more so than wanted, Antonio Brown.
And it speaks to
why they took the chance, Jenna.
Of course. Why they had him practice on that Friday when they knew that there was more information coming out. They desperately needed him to play.
Why they decided to, even after Ben Watson, old man Ben Watson. Ben Watson, most memorable play of his career came in, I believe, the 2006 AFC Championship game against Denver when he chased down the guy who had picked off the pass. I mean, let him come back and said, we'll hold on to you during your suspension to see if you can give us anything.
Yes.
He just got cut. They are searching offensively. And the guy who's always been able to solve it for them, Tom Brady, has looked like a 42-year-old. No, he's looked like a 38-year-old quarterback. Not a 38-year-old Tom Brady, but he's looked like a quarterback that is approaching the very end. Now, because he's 42, he's still playing at the highest level any quarterback his age has ever played at. That's because only like Moon and I think Warren Moon, Favre got close to it. No quarterbacks have ever done it. But I said this before the show, and I mean it. In 2017, the New England Patriots had 3 quarterbacks on their roster: Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jacoby Brissett. In 2019, the quarterback of those 3 that's playing the worst is Tom Brady. And I don't know if that continues, but he doesn't have the cavalry coming to help him reinforcement-wise on the offensive line or his skill position, guys. Now, the defense will carry him, and Belichick will carry him, but I don't know the offense going to get much better.
But, man, for a team that won the Super Bowl, how blessed are they with the schedule the NFL gave them this year? They got really lucky to be able to stay in games without even barely playing offense. All right, let's take a break. Coming up, what went so wrong for the Browns on Monday Night Football? That's next.